Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to everyone. Glad. Oh, Nishka got a sad face today. Why? I wonder. We should not have sad face at all. Okay, Nishka? So Nishka is still on mute. I can't hear Nishka.
Yeah.
So you guys can hear me. Of the music. Hare Krishna. The Kirtan I was listening. If anybody is interested, and if in case you would like to hear it too, this is what it is. I've just shared in the link. Hare Krishna, everyone. So let's get started. How are we doing today? Is everyone good? Based on the presentation, my face will change. Nishta, are you okay? You got your sad face next to you?
That's a happy face. It's sideways.
Oh, is it happy face now? All right, okay, yeah, you're right. Depends which side I'm looking at. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't find an emoji. So.
All right, okay, now this will do as long as... No, I know you're right, yeah. Oh my goodness me. This is how life is, you know? Depends which side you're looking at it. It could flip you down on this side or that side. Like I'm looking at the kids. They're enjoying and they're part of the session as well. So today we are going to have lots of stories like we always do. But along with that, we are going to revise what we did last time. But before we go and do it, we will do what we call Mangla Charan. Did we discuss Mangla Charan last time? I think we did. Mangla is auspicious and Charan is the feet of our guru, our teacher. So this mantra, which is Mangla Charan, is what we see on this slide at the moment on the screen. This is consists of many different mantras. And feel free, those who would like to join me, and we're going to do Mangla Charan now. Oh. अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः करामह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहागणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहागणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radha. Hare Krishna everyone. So, welcome back and let's resume our Bhagavad Gita sessions. What we have been doing, and they are around, at least it keeps increasing, but there are more than 400 different translations of Bhagavad Gita. And the one which is widely known is from Srila Prabhupada ji. It's called Bhagavad Gita as it is, because there Srila Prabhupada ji, whom we could say the compiler, not the author, the compiler. We could say the author because he wrote the purports. Purports are his own. But the book itself, Bhagavad Gita, was written by Ved Vyas ji. And Krishna is considered as the God. In many other translations, Krishna is considered just as the teacher. But Prabhupada ji considered Krishna as the God and the teacher himself. And this is the massive, big, huge family tree. Now, hopefully, each one of you, you got your own family tree with you. If not, you should. You should look for it. Look for the family tree. If you haven't done the exercise already, go around in the family and look for it. If you don't find anyone, ask your parents. Put some boxes and ask the names. And then that way, hopefully, you will realize that your family is much bigger than you thought or you know. And of course, a lot of us these days, we are settled in many different countries, many different continents. And it's amazing the way we figure out that we have so many extended brothers and sisters all over the place, whichever continent you go. And because we are part of the devotee families, all the Hare Krishna, we consider them as our brothers and sisters, which means doesn't really matter which country you go to, you find the temple, you go there, and all the devotees are there to welcome you. And this is an amazing feeling. Imagine you go to a country, and it happened with me. I was in Dubai, I went to Muscat, and I didn't know anyone. But very soon, and when I say very soon, it was as quick as that I went to the company, the company I was working in, and I was waiting for the lift. Lift opened, and the first person who walked, he saw that I was wearing what we call kanthi mala. So it's called kanthi mala because this is a mala, kind of necklace. And kant is your throat, because this touches your throat. So that's why it's called kanthi mala. He saw my kanthi mala. And just from that, he realized that I'm a Hare Krishna devotee. And that evening, I was there in his house having prasadam, having dinner. So this is how quickly the family gets together. So who would not like to have a family like that? So get connected, get associated to other devotees, visit temples, meet people, explore different places. Wherever you go, try to stay in the temple. And it's a lovely feeling. So coming back to the family, we started with Kuru. We have seen Shantanu, Ganga, Bhishma, Satyavati, Parashar, and then we have seen Chitranga, who didn't have any kids, and then Vichitravirya, who got 2 wives, Ambika and Ambalika, and got blessings of Vyasadeva, who's the author or compiler of all the Vedic scriptures. So whichever Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and we also call Mahakavya, which is Mahabharata and Ramayana, whichever scripture you pick, they've been put together by Ved Vyasa. Vyasa Deva, Veda Vyasa, because he wrote Veda. And then we know the history of Let's see. Yeah, we know the history of Pandu. Pandu was one of the sons of Vichitravirya, and the other one was Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was the blind one who got married to Gandhari, whose brother was Shakuni. Pandu, on the other side of us, was a bit weak health-wise. Hence, he died prematurely, very quick. But he got married before he died, Kunti and Marjorie. From Kunti, he had 3 sons. Well, actually 4 sons. But Karan got born to Kunti before she got married to Pandu. So that's why Kunti didn't recognize Karan as her son. And so Karan, for a long time, Karan didn't know that Kunti was Karan's mother. And but the other 3 were there: Yudhishthir, Bhishma, and Arjun. And then other 2, Nakul and Sukadev from Marjorie. So there were 5 brothers called Pandavas, being the sons of Pandu. So Pandu and Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhan and Dushasan, and Dushala was a sister, and other 98 sons. Imagine, Dhritarashtra had 101 children, 100 were sons, and 1 was a daughter. So 98 sons, and the 2 main ones, Duryodhan and Dushasan. So Duryodhan and Dushasan, they always used to fight with Pandu's sons, Yudhishthir, Bhishma, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, because they were very badly associated with their Mamaji. Not all the Mamajis are bad. I hope your Mamajis are not as bad as Shakuni. Mamajis are usually good. But in this case, Shakuni wasn't happy. And we can share the story why Shakuni wasn't happy. But for some reason, Shakuni wasn't happy with Pandus. Hence, he always wanted to pick the fight. But then later what happened? Yudhishthir and all the 5, they got married to Draupadi. And there is another story. At some point, we will discuss that as well, that how come Draupadi got married to all 5? And maybe you could trouble your parents as well to find that. Come back and let me know the story. And of course, all stories, they have their different versions. So maybe you find out what kind of version you heard from your parents, and then we will discuss. And then Arjun got married to Subhadra. Subhadra was the sister of Lord Krishna and Lord Balrama. Hence, Lord Krishna was a brother-in-law of Arjun. And Arjun, Subhadra got a son called Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was very brave, very clever, very smart. He died when he was roughly 15, 16 years old at battlefield. And but before he got married, he had those days it used to happen. He had a wife called Uttara, and she was pregnant. And later on, when Mahabharata almost finished, Parikshit was born, and Parikshit was the only one left. Parikshit was the king when the yugas, so the whole timeline being split into 4. The very first one, and we will see this in Bhagavad Gītā later when we will do the timeline of Lord Buddha, not Buddha, Lord Brahma, when we will do the timeline, the life span of Lord Brahma, then we will see there is Satyug, and there is a Treta Yug, then there is a Dwapar Yug, and then Kal Yug. And the transition, if you see from Dwapar to Kal Yug, then at that transition, the king was Parikshit. And Parikshit has a son called Janmejay. Parikshit is very famous there. Well, Janmejay is also famous for many different things. And I think briefly we discussed this as well, but let me ask Aryan that how he understands this slide. Aryan, what do you think about this slide?
So there are 3 sections in the Bhagavad Gītā, which consists of 18 chapters. So chapter 1 to 6, so the first third, it is Karma Yoga, which leads to Bhakti Yoga. So it's like the introduction to chapters 7 to 12, which is Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
And then chapter 13 to 18 is Jnana Yoga leading to Bhakti Yoga, which is how you use, I think, knowledge to Bhakti. And the first one's how you use actions to Bhakti. And the last section, so last 6 is how you use knowledge to Bhakti. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you so much. And Aryan is actually going to do a story for us as well. Not now, maybe in a few minutes. Aryan will do a story. And we will try to do 1 or 2 stories every session. And if you would like to do any story, please let me know. Either you could have your own story. There got to be some moral behind it. And there are so many moral stories we have within Bhagavad Gītā. We will share all of them now and then. We can't share all in one go because there are so many of those. But they are so lovely stories. And you will see how Aryan has done it. So put some slides together. You could do that way, or you could just verbally let us know. And we are still working on the timing. Some of the parents are still pinging me because the time doesn't suit them. But I think we're gonna stick to 5 to 6 because when the time changes, we used to come back to 5 to 6 anyways. But we had these for 6 to 7, but we have shifted to 5 to 6. So some of the parents, they are still catching up. But in 2 weeks' time, anyways, when the time in England changes, we used to switch to 5 to 6. So this time we have kept it to 5 to 6. So hopefully this timing will work for you. If not, I'm sure those who are missing, they will come back in 2-3 weeks time. I know some of the devotees, they have just messaged me saying that they are running late. Great. Says Aryan said that we have 18 chapters split into 3. And we will see this. Now remember how it goes, that Bhagavad Gītā, 18 chapters, 700 verses, it's just a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And this conversation didn't happen the way it's been presented here. So Krishna didn't say, okay, Arjun, now let's start the conversation, chapter 1, verse 1, verse 2. And okay, we've completed chapter 6, let's start chapter 7. No, he didn't. They just had the conversation, right? And based on what they discussed, how they discussed, and how the questions being put together by Arjun and how Krishna replied back, Vedvyas, he split into different themes. That, okay, first 6 chapters, they seem to fall into Karma Yoga, and in the middle, Bhakti Yoga, and right at the end, it's Jnana Yoga. Jnana is the knowledge. So Jnana, usually in Hindi, when we write Jnana as G-Y-A-N. But if we write it in Sanskrit, or from Sanskrit to English, it's actually J. J is pronounced as Gay. So it's a J-N. If we pronounce, it becomes Jnana rather than Jnana. I think somebody who wouldn't know Sanskrit will read this as a Jnana. All the way around will translate Sanskrit Jnana to G-Y-A-N. But wherever you will see J-N-A-N-A, that's a Jnana, knowledge. But I will keep reminding you. So remember, this is just for our own understanding. And there are many different authors who've been together and they did the commentary. As I said, there are 400, more than 400 translations. Prabhupada Ji focused on these 4 and put together his own. And then these are the verses we discussed, that who spoke how many verses. And very indicative. Dhritarashtra just said the first one, and that's it. Sanjay said most of them later on in chapter 1. And then Krishna and Arjuna started. And we discussed which chapter is huge. So 18 chapter is the 11%. So imagine that. And we have the verses as well on the right hand side. For each chapter, 78 verses in chapter 18, and then chapter 2, where we got 72 verses. These 2 are the massive ones. Then 20 chapters in chapter 12 and 20 verses in chapter 12 and 20 verses in chapter 15 makes these 2 chapters the smallest one. Yeah. Okay, great. So this is the way we can remember how easy it becomes for us to remember. How many verses in Bhagavad Gita? 700. How many chapters are there? 18. And of course, how it been split? 18 divided by 3 becomes 6. So first 6, middle 6, and end 6. First 6 for Karma Yoga, action, middle 6 for Bhakti Yoga, devotion, last 6 for Jnana Yoga, knowledge. And this way we remember it. This is Dhritarashtra, who is blind. He couldn't see, but his charioteer, Sanjay, could see. And Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, I can see everything, and I will narrate this story to you, what I see. And he could see that Arjuna and Krishna, they're going to kill everyone. What a shame for those who were baddies, because all the baddies were killed. So this is what we have done, that the Duryodhana is narrating it to Bhishma Pitama and his teacher, who was Dronacharya, and this is Bhishma Pitama, who is the great-great-grandfather of all the kids. Remember, Duryodhana and Pandavas, they were of the similar age. So he was the great-grandfather for all of them, but he was fighting from Duryodhana's side because he's loyal to the kingdom. And then the Bhagavad Gita starts when verse 14. So before verse 14, first 13 verses, it's just a mention what's happening around. But verse 14, Arjuna and Krishna enters, like the description starts. And then they started, this is the way they used to start then, that they will blow the conch shell. They will say, oh, right, okay, let's start. And all of them, they had their own conch shell, what we call shank. If you don't have a shank at home, next time you visit a temple, try to get one. It's such an auspicious thing to have. It's such a natural oasis, and we should all have it. We have one here in altar, and in the morning after doing our pujas, we blow it. And we've been living here for 4 years now, and none of our neighbors has complained yet, even though sometimes it's early morning, 5:30, but nobody has complained yet. But it's such an auspicious noise, the voice which comes out of it. So, and it's very good for lungs as well, because when you blow it, like when we do, oh, this is the way when we do, just try, give it a go. If you haven't already, next time you visit my home, all of you, try to find one, and you could give it a go. Or if you can't find one, let us know and we will find one for you. There are many in the temples. Otherwise, any temple you visit, most of the temple, they have the shop, and they have shank because it's supposed to be very auspicious. Now, story time, not from Aryan, but from me. Lord Krishna, his shank, his conch shell, had a name called Panchjanya. So Panchjanya was the name. And why this name? Because what happened that there was a time when, now my karmic name is Varun. Varun is in Indian Vedic culture, Varun is the Lord, demigod, the Lord of water. And so this is the way it goes. So Krishna is Supreme Personality, Krishna is the God, and Krishna would say in Bhagavad Gita that I give. So when we reach to chapter 7, Krishna has said it that I give power to all the Devi Devta. And Devi Devtas, they have said the same, that they get the power from Krishna. Like Indra, there is another story. There are so many stories. That's one of the beautiful part of Vedic culture. There are so many stories we can remember and we learn from it. And when the kids, they go to sleep, all the bedtime stories are made up of scriptures. And all the stories, they have the moral values. And this way, not only the kids, they get connected to their roots, but they also learn so many stories. So yeah, if I will keep telling all the stories, we will not move further. But we don't need to move further because we don't need to reach anywhere. We just need to learn something which we could deploy in our life. Lord Krishna had the conch shell called Panchjanya. Why? Because Lord Krishna's father, for some apparent offense, like he did something wrong. He didn't, but to imagine Lord of the water, Varun Dev, who is a demigod of water and he controls water. Like in Greek mythology, you will think of Poseidon, I think. So Poseidon is there, and so that's Varun Dev in Vedic culture. And you have all his followers are there, those who work for him, and they noticed that Krishna's dad was actually taking bath in the river, which still happens in India, and which is really holy thing. But the time was not auspicious. This is what they thought, and they were wrong later on. We found out, but they said, "Oh, right, this man," and they didn't know he's the father of Krishna. They said, "Oh, you doing that thing? You were not supposed to do bathing at the moment. Come on, come with us." And they took Lord Krishna's father. And then Lord Krishna's mom started crying and saying, "Hey, somebody took your dad and you've been playing fluid there. Go find your daddy." And Lord Krishna said, "Of course, mom, I will go and find my dad." So Lord Krishna went there and he asked Yamraj, because everybody thought he died. So Yamraj said, "No." Yamraj is the Lord of Death. He said, "No, no, 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 I could never do that. I didn't do that. Who did it?" I said, "Oh, let me find out." And then one of his secret guys come back and said, "Oh, I know. Lord Varun Dev has taken it." "Varun, you did it." "Not me. Varun Dev." So they went there. They looked for it. And then Krishna went to Varun's lok. So they all have all kingdom. So Agni Dev, the fire lord, the water lord, the Indra himself, and Kuber, the treasury of the demigods, they all have their own small kingdom. So Krishna went there to Lord Varun. Varun said, "No, I didn't do it." When at that time the messenger came, "Actually, so sorry, we did it." "What? You did it? Why?" And they said, "Actually, not us. We were bringing it, but at that time we found somebody like a demon in the water, and he captured your dad. So he's not with us. He's there." So what? Really? Okay, I will go. So Krishna said, "Okay, now I know where the demon. Let me know." Krishna went there. Krishna killed that demon, and then that demon had a conch shell, and that demon, because demon was actually water bear, so used to live in the water, and being in the water he has a great possession of treasures, and this was one of his treasure. When Krishna killed him, that his family members said that he was actually a bad guy, you killed him, and we would like to offer you this and this. The name of that demon was Panchanya, hence the conch shell was called Panchanya, and then Lord Krishna since that been using that Panchanya. So that's how he got it. I have modified and twisted the tale for your just a bit of flavor. So wherever you will read it, there you might always find a bit of flavors here and there. But at some point in Bhagavad Gītā, chapter 1, between verse 20 and 26, Arjun said to Krishna that, "I can't believe they both are cousins, like we are Pandus and they are Dhritarashtra side. And we are brothers and sisters." Well, there were no sisters there on the battlefield that moment. But we are all cousins. And we are here to fight. Krishna would take me in the middle of the army. I would like to see these people who are gathered here to fight. And then when Arjun saw his own relatives, both sides, he said, and he grew up with them. And Arjun was probably one of the best archer and one of the best fighter at that time. And definitely from Pandav side anyways. And then Arjun said, "I can't do it. I can't fight." He left his Gandhi, which is like his, if you see bow and arrow, he used to have bow and arrow. And he said, "I can't fight. I can't fight." And now something interesting happened. And this is so far we've been revising. And because these are the foundations, fundamentals, we should always remember. But now what Arjun does is something very important. Remember why we're doing all this? So we get the benefit. Arjun is going to ask a lot of things on our behalf. Arjun is the ideal student, and Krishna, being the Lord, a favorable Lord, that a great teacher, is going to give all the responses. Those responses are for us. Imagine a student is there, and one of the students will ask question, and there are 20, 30 students, and could be 60 students in a class. Depends which country you are in. So one student will ask the question from teacher, and teacher said, all right, this is the answer. Now, how many of the students going to get the answer? All of them, right? All of them, of course, if they didn't know, they didn't ask the question, but still they got the benefit of being there and listening. And this is the benefit we all get by reading Bhagavad Gita and reading Bhagavad Gita. By listening Bhagavad Gita, by reading Bhagavad Gita, by hearing Bhagavad Gita, and by discussing Bhagavad Gita, right? There are question and answers, and all the Vedic scriptures, such a beautiful thing, they all are question and answers. Hence, we encourage people, devotees, children, everyone to ask questions, because all our scriptures are full of question and answers. So this point, what Arjun does, Arjun raises 5 objections why he doesn't want to fight. He said, I can't fight. So sorry, I can't fight. And he gave the very first reason why he doesn't want to fight, because he said, I am full of compassion. And a lot of time this happens with us as well. We don't want to do something because we have love for others, right? Simple as that. Other day, Shivani said to me, I got a spider on my bed. I thought, oh, right, okay, what shall I do? Take it away. How? Oops, that's going to hurt spider. How could I mean, I can't really politely ask spider to leave. But somehow I managed to, not politely asking, and spider left. Well, I had to do it in a traditional way, taking the spider out. But because I was full of compassion, I didn't want to do it. And for a long time, I didn't do it. I actually didn't do it for a long time. I think I gave like a couple of hours. Maybe give some time and spider will go away. Due to compassion, I didn't want to do my duty, right? Due to compassion, Arjun did not want to fight. And there's so many examples we get such a way. But how Krishna will overcome this, we will see. So the symptoms were there, right? What happened to Arjun? And these are there in the verses, we can see from 28 to 30th in chapter 1. Remember, there are many verses there, right? So what happens there? I'm just checking the timing because Aaron needs to do his story. Maybe next 3 minutes I will call him. Yeah, okay, Aaron is up for it. So what happened? The symptoms were there when he was full of compassion. This is what happens to us when we are full of compassion, but still we need to take action against somebody. It could be that we have a little brother, little sister. We need to take the chocolates away, ice cream away, and we are full of compassion. We want to give the ice cream, but we know the kid is suffering from cold. But at the same time, we are full of compassion. What do? Shall we take it away, or because we have compassion, we give it away? We give it to the kid and say, okay, you eat it even though you're feeling cold, or we say, nope, 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 nope. We have to be strong and we say, no, you should not have ice cream because you're cold. So we do face, all of us, we face these kind of things. But what happens? Sometimes it goes that deep that his limbs, his body parts started quivering, like shivering, right? His mouth drying up. And this is what happened to us as well, doesn't it? A lot of time when we are trying to speak, because we are overwhelmed with the feelings, our mouth dries up and we can't speak. The whole body started trembling again, like shaking. Hair of the body stand. This is like what happens when we become static, right? And the goosebumps we get. So Gandiva, his bow had a name, Gandiva. So the bow slipped. And this is for a fighter. His own weapon slipped from his own hand. That's very bad. That's like a symptom that he's not fit to fight. And that's exactly what happened to Arjun. Now, this is like we are students and we had a pen in our hand and we are in the examination hall. As soon as we saw the paper, we dropped our pen or pencil and we thought, I can't fight. I can't write. I can't think, right? I'm trembling. This happens. His skin was burning and his legs unable to stand. If you see previously, he's standing. Now, if you see, he is sitting down. He could not stand up. All these things happen. And he said then, and we will see this verse, forgetting myself and mind reeling due to the weakness of my heart, due to the weakness of my heart. Now, remember, heart is a different, it is a pumping organ if you think about it. But what he said, that due to the weakness of his heart, he can't do it. I mean, how many times this happened to us? Maybe not to kids, but if you think about it, definitely happens to the adults. And now he only see misfortune. Like, if I will fight, this is wrong, I will not fight. So the very first reason, and I will briefly mention here and we will stop here and we will start from this slide next week. So very first reason he said, number one, compassion. Due to compassion, I can't fight. And the second reason he said, enjoyment. He said, well, what pleasure will I derive by killing my own relatives, right? I can't. It's like, again, if you have a little sister, little brother, if you take the ice cream from them and you start eating, are you going to be happy? Now, don't tell me you're going to be happy. Nasty you. You should not be happy, right? Of course, we don't. If somebody else, we are in the company of someone else who's miserable and we can't enjoy it. We can't really. If we are sitting between 10 kids and one of the kids will start crying, you can't have fun. You got to think what was happening there. And this is what Arjun said, I can't enjoy myself killing these people. So the first one is compassion, then the enjoyment reason he gave. And the third one, he said destruction of families. He said, if I'm going to kill all these men, because there were men there, if I'm going to kill all these men, what will happen to their kids? Who will grow them? And the father and mother together, they give the Vedic culture great upbringing to the kids. If the father will die, who will earn the money? In those days, mainly fathers used to earn. Who is going to support the family? Who is going to give the family values? So the destruction of families will happen. And right at the end, he says, I'm fearful of the sinful actions. So the way I will remember, so fear, of course, when you kill others, it's a sin. So the four reasons I've given, the fifth one I will give in the next time, but the way we remember, C, D, E, F. C for compassion, D for destruction, E for enjoyment, and F for fear. C, D, E, F. Not A, not B. It starts from C. Compassion, destruction, enjoyment, and fear. These ways we can remember four. And then we will see what happens in the next one. And let me call, it's time for Arvin. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'm going to share the different slides which Arvin will discuss. Arvin, are you ready? Let's do the... Okay, so I'm just going to stop this and I'm going to begin. Okay, all right, let me share. All right, let me stop sharing and let me restart share. There we go. Arvin, over to you, please.
So, on the picture on the left, there's a devotee who is just praying to Krishna on the altar. On the left side, he's just like admiring Krishna. And then on the right side, he's like, oh, Krishna, what do? You just stand in that one position. Why don't you just take a day off and let me just stand in your position? And Krishna was like, okay, sure. But anything that happens, don't say a word. Don't say anything, just go along with anything that happens.
Great. So now what? The Krishna and the devotee, they are going to swap
places.
Swap places. Sounds good. Let's see what happens next.
So then a very rich person comes and he's praying to Krishna. So, well, Krishna, but then the devotee is in the place of where Krishna is. So the rich person goes there and he's like, "Oh, Krishna, please make me richer. Please make my life happy. Please make my business get boosted up." And when that happens, he accidentally leaves his wallet when he starts to go out, and he's like, "Yeah."
Okay, so what the rich person, while taking the darshan and asking for more money, he dropped his wallet there.
Yeah, he drops his wallet.
He drops his wallet, and then we move forward. Nice. Okay, the poor person.
So then the poor person, he comes and he prays to Krishna. He's like, "Please, Krishna, I don't have any place to stay. I just need a bit of food, please." He closes his eyes, and when he opens it, he looks in front of him, and then he sees the wallet, and he's like, "Oh my God, Krishna actually fulfilled my wishes." And then he picks up the wallet and then leaves, going to buy some food and some clothes.
Aha, okay. So the wallet, which by mistake the rich person dropped at the altar, the poor person who came later just for the darshan and asking for the blessings from Krishna, he found it and he thought Krishna has given to him and he took it and he went away.
Yes.
All right, okay, interesting. And of course, our devotee who is there on the altar instead of Krishna, because Krishna has gone for traveling, he's taking some rest. So he didn't say a thing to him because he was asked by Krishna not to intervene. Just see what happens. Oh, right, okay, another visitor.
Next, a captain, a sailor, he goes to pray to Krishna. He's like, "Please, Krishna, let the seas be calm. I need to go home. I need to see my family. I need to see my kids and my wife. Please make my journey smooth. Please, Krishna, I just want your blessings."
Okay, so Navy captain, because he's going to go in a ship, and ship voyages, they take so long, 2 months, 3 months, and he's just there asking for blessings from Krishna for a safe journey. Sounds great. Oh, what happens there?
And then the rich person, when he leaves the temple, he's like, "Where's my wallet? Has it been robbed?" And he's like, "Oh, I was supposed to give some money to Krishna, so he would have given more money back to me by putting into the donation box." And then he's like, "Oh, I need to go back into the temple so I can retrieve my wallet before anyone steals it." So he goes back and he doesn't find the wallet. And the sailor is still praying to Krishna. Then the rich man calls the police, and the police show up. The police end up arresting the sailor because the sailor was the last person at the crime, and the wallet isn't there. So they thought that the sailor stole the money.
Aha, right, okay. So the rich person came back and he could not see his wallet, but he saw the Navy person and he thought that he must have taken the money, the wallet. Hence, he called the police, and the police caught the Navy person and put him in the jail. Oh, bad. And then what happens? The Krishna is coming back now. Oh, yeah.
And then the devotee is like, no, then he couldn't hold it, just seeing all the things that are happening. And then he's like, the devotee says to the policeman, "Oh, please, I can't take this. I can't take this anymore. The sailor didn't take the wallet, but the beggar did. He's outside the temple." And then the policemen, they go out to capture the robber, but they think it's a robber, but it's a beggar because he picked up the wallet thinking that Krishna gave it. So he goes out and they end up arresting him, and the sailor's free to go.
All right, okay, that's really interesting. So even though Krishna asked him not to speak, just to witness what's going to happen, but still he could not hold because he thought the injustice was happening, which was true because the sailor didn't. So sailor wasn't supposed to be in the jail, and the beggar should be in the jail. So now beggar is in the jail because the devotee spoke up. And the sailor is free to go on his voyage, and the beggar is in the jail, and the rich person got his money back. Sounds like a happy story, but what happens when Krishna comes back from his holiday for a day?
Then Krishna comes back after his traveling, just going and seeing the temple in Watford. And then he comes back into the temple, and then he goes to the son and he's like, "What happened? I told you not to talk." And he's like, "Yes, but I saw all these wrong things, that the beggar took the wallet and then the sailor was going to get arrested for no reason." And then Krishna's like, oh, I told you not to talk. It was because the wallet was there. So because the rich person left his wallet, that was a good thing because he was going to anyways die in a few days. And the beggar picked up the wallet thinking that, oh, Krishna gave it so he could have some food. Otherwise, then he would die in the next few days, or he would spend his time in prison. And the sailor needed to go to prison because there were going to be some very rough seas, and he was going to end up dying on the voyage. And then Krishna's like, oh, all of this. And then the devotee, he ends up going like, oh, Krishna, I did not think that all of this, you thought that everything out for every individual in the world. So how everything connects with each other.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So indeed, what happens right at the end, like what Arun explained, and very nice. Thank you so much for putting this together and sharing this story with us. So such a great thing. Of course, the devotee always thought that Krishna, and we always think, don't we? We think, oh, Krishna, the God is there in the temple. He's just standing. He doesn't need to do anything. But the devotee thought that Krishna is just standing. Let me take his place because he must be tired of standing all the time. Only at the end, he realized that Krishna actually intervenes and helps everyone. So Krishna wanted to help the rich person because the rich person never used to donate, especially to poor people. So Krishna made his wallet fall. So the wallet money will go to the poor person. And this way, when the rich person will die, he would have what we call Agyata Sukriti. Agyat is unknown benefit. So because knowingly he wasn't doing the donation, at least unknowingly he would do the donation. And when he will die, when he will reach to the Lord of the death, Yamraj will say, did you do anything good? And he said, I didn't. And Lord said, well, you did, but you didn't know about it. And because you did something good, you're going to have some good time here. So this is what Krishna wanted for the rich person. And of course, the Navy person, he was a good man. And Krishna wanted to save him. Hence, Krishna wanted him to stay in the jail for a night. Because obviously next day, everything will be sorted. And the poor person was that poor that he was not able to eat for so many days. And he needed money. So Krishna gave the money through the rich person. So Krishna was actually thinking of all of three. And this is what it is. If you see this picture, such a beautiful picture that Krishna is thinking of everyone, everyone. It says not even a leaf in the jungle moves without the blessings of Krishna, the Lord. So whether we want it or not, whether we like it or not, and I will finish this with another story, just by adding a bit of spice to it, because we said that Krishna, without Krishna's permission, things doesn't change, right? If you think about it, without Krishna's permission, things don't change. If you think about it, you might say, well, it happens. There was one person, and this actually happened. It's in records. A teacher said this to a spiritual teacher, not like a maths or chemistry teacher, a spiritual teacher said to all his disciples that without Krishna's permission, nothing moves. And then one person stood up, and he was very new, and he said, I don't agree with it. And he said, okay, can you raise one of your leg? And he raised one of his leg. Let's say if he folded his left leg, and Krishna said, can you now fold your right leg as well? And he said, I can, but for that I need to put my left leg down. He said, no, keep your left leg up and then do it. He said, no. He said, but is this not your leg? Said, yeah, this is my leg. Why can't you move it? Because I'm bound by law of gravitation. If I will do it, I will fall down. Said, yes. Can you stop your heart? Can you stop your blinking eyelids? No. Then the teacher explained that you had the choice. When I said fold one of your leg, you could have folded your left leg or right leg. But as soon as you did, your left leg then your right leg was bounded by material nature. And this is exactly what happens. Whenever we do karma, whenever we do something, we are bound by the reactions of it. And when we get into devotion, bhakti, we realize how to do, we will do this in chapter 3, how to do karma without getting tangled into these reactions. And we should always remember that. And we will finish today's session on that. But just a quick recap. We have 5 minutes here. If anybody has any questions or anything to add, if not, please think of what we have done today. We recapped everything from chapter 1, and we will conclude chapter 1 hopefully next time. And we are doing in a very thematic way. We are not doing verse by verse, but we are going to cover all the crucial bits. So where we are in Bhagavad Gita, that Arjun, and we will see in chapter 2 verse 7 is actually where he surrenders to Krishna. So he gives 5 reasons. Currently, Arjun is giving reasons to Krishna that why I don't want to fight, right? Why I don't want to fight. But at the end, he will not give the reasons. He will just sit down and he will say, Krishna, please help me. And then Krishna will help, right? So it's like Krishna is one of those friends. As long as we will say we are in power, Krishna can't do much. Because we say we're going to do it. But when we will say, thank you, Krishna, for whatever you have given to us, but we can't do it alone. Not that we will say and sit down, okay, Krishna, you do it. I don't want to do it. No, because you are in control of everything. What's the point of me doing it? No, we need to do our bits. But we need to realize that without Krishna's sanction, permission, in agreement, it cannot happen. And that's the reason Damodar month, Kartik month is coming, starting at the end of this month, and we will see very nice stories. Maybe next time we will do that. But what happened in this Kartik month and why this is celebrated as Damodar month. So if you know the story, if you know the meaning of this word Damodar, there are 2 words in this big Damodar word, then let me know next time if you go to find out. But what Arjun says 5 reasons, and I have shared 4 with you, and I will share the 5th one next time. And then we will start, or we will just finish chapter 1, and then we will following week we will start chapter 2, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, right? Chapter 1 is the background, just overseeing the battlefield, and of course Arjun sharing why he does not want to fight. And then Krishna starts in chapter 2, and Krishna explains almost the whole Bhagavad Gita, but in very, very simple, brief way. And this happens sometimes. So we ask for the advice and somebody gives us a lot of advices. They say, whoa, 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 you have said so many things, I'm confused. And the person, the friend, the teacher say, all right, let's go slowly. Let's go one by one. And then from chapter 3, Krishna starts everything what he has said in chapter 2. He will split it. He will go in detail. And thank you so much that Arjun said at the end of chapter 2 that please go in detail. Otherwise, the whole Bhagavad Gita was just chapter 2. Everything in concise form. I mean, 700 verses are not big enough anyways. If you go Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 18,000 verses, right? So to end, what are the 4 reasons Arjun said, I don't want to fight? CDE, the way we could remember, compassion. He said, I have a compassion for all these people. I don't want to fight with them. Then he said, destruction, that the destruction of family tradition. If I will kill all the men, then what will happen to their children? What will happen to their wives? How they will survive? And the whole family structure will go down. Whole society will go down. C for compassion, D for destruction of family tradition, E for enjoyment. What's the point? How will I enjoy if I will kill all of them? Right? With whom I will enjoy? Imagine somebody will say, beat all your friends. And if you are a winner, I will give you chocolate. I said, well, I will beat everyone, but then I can't enjoy that chocolate anymore. And that's exactly what happened. C, compassion. D, destruction of family tradition. E for enjoyment. And C, D, E, F, fear of sinful reaction. I am fearful of sinful reactions, that I don't want to fight. I don't want to kill. I will kill my great-grandfather. I will kill my teacher, Dronacharya, and I will kill my cousins, or I will have such a great sin. But then Krishna will explain all that to Arjun later. There's one reason out of 5 which I haven't shared, which I will share next time. So thank you so much for your presence today. And those who are watching on YouTube, think of Damodar month. And next class, if you could join, that would be great. And we will share that with everyone. Damodar Leela is coming. Kartik month is very auspicious. So thank you so much for your presence. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Hare Sham. Hare Krishna, everyone. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you next week. Hare Krishna.